Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Kevin McGovern, and it is another game show time. If you're looking for the Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, the match game, you've come to the wrong spot. The game show is an acronym for my movement test, and we're here to talk about all things physical therapy, fitness, functional medicine, and all that good stuff. And I have a very special guest for you guys today. She is a physical therapy colleague. Her name is Lori Diamos, and she has something really cool kind of up and coming that I know nothing about, so I'm going to learn with you guys, called blood flow restriction. All right, so we're going to talk about that. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce Lori, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself. So, Lori, thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. So I've practiced for a very long time, almost 30 years.
Aha!
Um,
I got you. Well, no,
yep.
probably about the
So
same.
always in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
kind of
Okay, go
fast-paced
ahead.
outpatient ortho. So always in the kind of fast-paced outpatient ortho world, and I'm in the city of Chicago. So definitely urban, fast-paced. See a lot of fun and unique stuff. My background is kind of in functional assessment and treatment. So I kind of take a whole body approach when I'm looking at somebody because when they come to me, I don't really think there's any way to know if the area that is their problem is the victim or culprit unless we know how the whole system is working. So that's kind of where my passion and a lot of my training lies in that. I've done stuff with the Gray Institute and Gray Cook, and all of his functional movement, and Tom DeLonzo Baker with some of his total motion release type things. So all of those are kind of head to toe systematic ways of assessing for a fast, effective, streamlined approach to not only evaluating, but then treating the whole person and not really just one spot. Now, I tend to work with tons of busy people being in the city of Chicago. So I get very excited about things that work, things that are effective and efficient, and help people to get results faster so that they can work smarter and not harder. And that's part of what led me to my functional treatment style, and then different, manual techniques and tools and treatments, especially my newborn passion for the BFR training. So,
I love it. It sounds like we have a lot of the same philosophies. Unfortunately, I know Tom DeLonzo Baker very, very well. We used to be an
do
old
you?
mastermind together, so his stuff works incredibly well. And I think you would, I think you would probably really nerd out on my game test too. So when I come on your show, I'll tell you all about it. But so tell me about what your practice. Are you in the city? Is it insurance based, cash based, fee for service? What are you doing out there in another time zone?
So
What's
I have
happening
two
out there?
separate things. I have my own business, and in my own practice, it's really almost a bigger focus on wellness and bridging the gap from rehab back to real life. And I do a lot of BFR stuff, educational stuff, but I still do some cash based physical therapy as well. And I also still work part
Sweet.
time for a privately owned company here in the Chicagoland region called Sports and Ortho. And, your traditional outpatient practice. But the neat thing is that they also take that functional approach. So they use that same head to toe system with their emphasis more with Gary Gray and the Gray Institute. Um, but again, love it because it kind of follows my passion of treating the whole person and, making sure we're really getting to the root cause of what their issues are. So,
Well, good. My audience will feel safe because they hear me saying that almost exactly verbatim what you
see,
just
I,
said.
I can echo you.
All right. So we already have this an acronym, this BFR, which stands for blood flow restriction, and that's right, folks. This is high level stuff of literally stopping, which we would thought 20 years ago would be what? We're stopping blood flow to muscle. What's
Correct.
going on here? So I'm going to let you talk about it because I know nothing about it, and then you can tell me, where it kind of the science behind it, where it came. Let's start with that. Like, how long has
Sure.
this been in use, and
It's
who
actually been
started it?
around for
Who's
quite a
in
long
charge of
time,
this? What's going
which
on out there?
uh, it started somewhere between 40 and 60 years ago in Japan. And
Oh, okay.
Dr. Soto, I believe, is the gentleman's name who started it. And he was some type of he practiced some form of martial arts. And he realized that when he was kneeling for a long time, his legs got really tired staying in the same position. And it kind of, stirred. He realized he was kind of cutting off the blood flow. He felt fatigued. He hadn't done that much. So, long story short, he ended up breaking his
Mm-hmm.
leg. He took his martial arts belt and put it around his leg and did exercises while he was recovering. And after his recovery, he had almost no atrophy when he came out of his cast. And he realized that he was onto something. So it's kind of
Wow.
evolved and developed from there. And the original bands that developed in Japan are called katsu, which I think means, slowing blood flow or something like that. Um, a lot
Okay.
of the original ones are, if you think of a blood pressure cuff is a tourniquet. So it's one tube, you pump it up, it completely
Mm-hmm.
stops everything. And many of the ones still used today in a lot of the therapy clinics are that as well. The particular kind that I use have kind of taken that original design through a lot of more science development research into it. So I use bands from B3 Science, and I've also used them from their sister company called B Strong. They're the same bands, just different colors. But instead of
Mm-hmm.
a tourniquet, instead of one tube, it's multiple chambers. So there's multiple little bubbles. So now, when you have a tourniquet, you've got to be very careful. There's extra safety steps involved, monitoring somebody under Doppler, knowing their exact limb occlusion pressure, because if you cut off blood flow to a certain extent, you could cause damage. With the ones from B3 Sciences, because it's the little bubbles, there's always blood coming through. So we don't ever fully occlude. We're just slowing down, adding a gentle squeeze and resistance. But there's a slightly higher level of safety. And to my knowledge, they're the only company that's actually done safety studies on people with stroke,
Okay.
heart attack, in addition to your regular population, with some actual science and proof that they are safe and a little safer than some of the other ones because they don't have that dramatic change in the arterial pressure because they
Mm-hmm.
don't fully occlude, but we still get the same great results from it. So what happens is when you put the cuff, it goes around your upper arms, your upper legs, or both, and then you pump it up to a specified pressure, and you get a gentle squeeze. The amazing thing is now when we add in simple, short duration, lower weight activity, because you're getting less oxygen
Mm-hmm.
in blood, your muscle fatigues faster with easy activity. So you're kind of tricking it and doing a little biohack into it thinking it's doing longer, harder, higher intensity work, but you're reproducing that with shorter, lower intensity activity. So this helps a wide range of people, from your elite athletes who get injured because they're overtraining, or they're doing they're working so hard that they're overusing. Now they can pare down their intensity, their time, their weight without sacrificing results. To my post-surgical person who's in pain, they can't do very much. They're healing and recovering. Now they can still get the results of somebody working out at high intensity with very simple, light activity. To even my elderly people who don't move as well, don't tolerate as much. So for me, for someone who's practiced 30 years, it's one of the first tools that honestly works with a hugely broad spectrum of people, young to old, healthy, deconditioned, multiple medical conditions, elite athlete, usually whatever we do works for a few groups, but it's very rare that it works for an entire population of
Sure.
people. So I have yet to find, I mean, the only people who really have to be careful is if you have lymphedema, you're not going to put it on a limb that has lymphedema. If you have an acute injury and acute swelling, you're not going to use it on anywhere where there's acute swelling, because when we put these on and you're stopping the flow, you get what we call like a temporary swell. Do you know what I mean? Like when the bodybuilders work out, their veins start to pop out.
Yep.
You get a little bit of that in the 5 to 20 minutes that you wear the bands. So we wouldn't do that to anybody that already has edema or inflammation issues. The other group is people with sickle cell anemia. You would have to be careful with things like that. But for the specific type of BFR band I use, anybody else that is cleared for exercise can actually try the bands, feel them for themselves, and experience the different benefits. So as you're fatiguing the muscle, what happens is you start to feel these work in a couple minutes. So, you know, when you've worked out for a long time and you get that muscle burn after a really hard workout, you reproduce that with these bands in just the first couple of minutes. Because you've depleted the oxygen, your body has to send a signal to the brain that it needs another fuel source. So that's when this positive cascade of all these different metabolic things actually start happening. So as you know, the lactic acid builds up, it causes this positive cascade. And a couple of the big things in our world that are helpful is 2 hormones get triggered to be released. In your brain, we release human growth hormone. And for most of us, once we hit our mid-20s, 30s, the natural production of that goes from here and it just starts going down. And that's how come our aging process starts. The neat thing is it's sitting in our brain, but unless we can be active and work out hard enough, it becomes hard to release it. Now with these bands and the biohack that they do, anyone of any age can release it very quickly once this oxygen imbalance starts happening. So with the human growth hormone, we know from the research that it helps people to heal much faster. So if they're recovering from a tendon strain, a surgical repair, and a muscular injury, that human growth hormone is going to accelerate the healing process for them. It also helps to tone and strengthen much quicker. Most of our aging population, one of the big things they suffer with is called sarcopenia, where they start to lose muscle mass. This is one of the few scientifically proven things that can turn that sarcopenia around and start rebuilding that muscle mass for our active agers. The other nice thing is it supports multiple health systems from head to toe, but it releases what's called nitric oxide, which is a blood vessel dilator. So now, I mean, pain is a huge issue, whether acute to chronic in our world, especially the physical therapy and sport performance world. As we dilate these blood vessels with the nitric oxide, when we're in pain, what happens is tissues constrict, they guard, they shut down so that we can protect and heal. But that limits normal blood flow and nutrients from getting there to speed the healing process along. So now people that are in pain anywhere, within a few minutes of using these bands, they get the nitric oxide release, blood vessels dilate, and pain all over immediately starts to diminish or go down. I had a lady come in with a migraine. I put her on the bike, and in 5 minutes, she's freaking out because her migraine was gone. I had a police officer with chronic low back pain. I put him on the treadmill just to warm up lightly, and he's looking at me cross-eyed. He's like, I don't feel my back hurting. What the heck is going on? So, I mean, it is just an extra aid and boost to help all of our busy clients get the results they want, but in a fraction of the time with a fraction of the effort. And to me, the more important thing is there are multiple peer-reviewed scientific studies and research backing a multitude of different health and fitness benefits that the bands offer. So rather than all the exercise and movement fads we have out there, this one is really rooted in fact and science. And all that research is just continuing to grow now that it's becoming more mainstream and more people are starting to hear about them, try them, use them, incorporate them in the healthcare world, the fitness world, the Olympian sport performance world. So I really only think we're going to see the evidence growing and the different things it helps expanding with time.
Awesome. Okay, so now does this prevent injuries? Is this something we can use as injury? You know, a lot of people are into being proactive and
Well,
preventing
to me,
injuries.
yes, because well, let's talk about you work with a lot of pitchers. I work
Correct.
with a ton of high school athletes. These kids literally
Okay.
play year round now. It's insane. There is no downtime and no rest period. And their practices can literally be 2 to 4 hours on a daily basis. To me, it's kind of insanity. These bands in 5 to 20 minutes replicate what an hour to an hour and a half of activity can do. So not only are they saving that repetitive stress and strain on their body, they're getting back valuable time to have a life, get some schoolwork done, spend some time with friends and family, all of that kind of stuff. We have marathoners, cyclists using these, triathletes who are used to putting in 13-hour weeks training that are now cutting that in half. They're not sacrificing their results, but again, they're getting back time and they're saving that repetitive stress and strain on their body that most of these endurance sports require a lot of repetitive stress and strain for. So it can
So
definitely help.
what are the top 3 or 4 things that are this is really a home run for?
Oh gosh, that's going to be tough. So I mean, I think in the rehab world, it's just the faster strength cardio recovery gains. But in the real world, that's if you move it beyond therapy, because I think where this has the hugest potential home is in the wellness, that bridge to wellness, fitness, recreation, sports performance. We know from the research that this supports brain health. So I've used it with people with MS, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. It releases a hormone in your brain, BDNF. My son plays hockey. Concussions are rampant. BDNF is a helpful hormone for that. So I've loaned out my bands to just a couple of these concussion kids to get them through the process easier, safer, faster, quicker. But it also helps thyroid health. So I treat tons of women with fibromyalgia, different metabolic disorders. Again, an easy way to cut down your training intensity, but still get the results to manage your conditions. Diabetes, humongous. It helps to regulate blood sugar. So it releases different hormones that help keep a steady blood pressure, but it also revs your metabolism. So unfortunately, lots of people in the US are overweight. I'd say one of the biggest things these are known for outside of PT is weight loss, because the growth hormone, as you're using these after, you get what's called the afterburn state. So when you've used these for the next 24 hours, any movement you do, you burn an extra 500 to 1,000 calories roughly. So for our people who sit, they're inactive, if they can merely do 5 to 20 minutes of this, it's a simple tool to start turning around all of these different issues. Heart disease is another huge one that it's big for. And it releases multiple heart hormones naturally that people take pharmaceuticals for on an everyday basis. So lots of our people that use these in therapy, they end up purchasing them. And I get stories of people coming back and saying, I was on this level of diabetes medication or this type of stuff for my heart condition and my high blood pressure. The doctor cut my dose, or I weaned myself off the dose just by incorporating simple movement and adding this tool to help you get even more out of the movement that you're already going to do anyway. So I think for all of the crazy health issues, the bands have research backing that they help to minimize and improve almost every one of the effects. Personally, as a woman, I've treated a ton of people with bone density issues. I've had 3 women now where they've gone from osteoporosis to osteopenia in 10 to 12 weeks of using the bands, with DEXA scan results to show it changes, because the growth hormone helps to improve bone formation and bone density. So whether you have a fracture and you're trying to get back from that quicker, or you're in that midlife metabolic change where bone density becomes an issue, so many people don't want pharmaceuticals and they want a holistic approach. And to me, this one is a no-brainer because it's a holistic approach for so many of the standard American health issues that a lot of us face. So I don't think I can pick 3 because it helps kind of amazingly with many, many, many of just normal health issues we face outside of movement and physical therapy.
Awesome. All right. Well, the next question is, how do people find you, or how do people find a provider? Are you doing things where people can get to you online, or
Sure. So
what? Tell us about that.
I'm a certified coach through B3 Sciences, and you can find me there at Lori .b3sciences.com. B3 Science has done a truly tremendous job in creating educational content for the regular everyday person. So if you want to know about BFR, you can head over to that site, and depending on what your health or fitness question is, they've got a frequently asked question page. They've got a 3-minute, this is what the bands are, this is how they work. And then they've got separate ones about how do I improve brain health, thyroid health, heart health, bone health, pain reduction, tendon injury recovery, sport performance. And you can watch a 3 to 10-minute video to get more specific information about whatever you want. Simple, down-to-earth content, but if you really want to understand the BFR better through the bands that they use, great tools to simply and easily learn more. I also have an Instagram and a YouTube page. My heading or my handle is Pearls from a PT. So I kind of am, and that's kind of my personal business as well. My whole mission is I've got 30 years of some pretty phenomenal experience behind me. Over that time, you see what works and what doesn't work. You gain tools, certification, as well as a network of people. So on those sites, I really just pay forward fast, easy, effective, and useful tips, tricks, ideas, and strategies so that busy people of all ages can stay safe, fit, healthy, and active at every age and stage of life. So those are 2 great places to come and see some content or post some questions and let me know what you want more content on, because I'm always adding more to keep people moving and doing it at home and independently as long as they can.
Awesome. Well, that is like some enlightening news for my audience, and they'll surely appreciate this, and I may have to look some of this stuff up. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate this, because obviously this is something that goes almost against what we've been taught about increasing blood flow. I think this was fascinating, and my audience will be fascinated to learn this. Thank you so much.
Well, and I think my pleasure. And the thing is, we're not stopping. We're merely slowing the blood flow down for a very short amount of time. It's not like we're
Right.
stopping it permanently. So I think once people get that idea, the scary sound of it's not so scary anymore. So, and the
I love it.
benefits are, pretty intense. So,
I love it. Well,
yeah,
thank you so
great.
much. And one more time, how can
My
people
pleasure.
reach you?
Um, you can email me at Lori at pearlsfromapt.com. It's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me.
All right. Thank you, and that wraps up another game show. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you
Thanks for
soon.
having me.